Hello, it's Friday morning, August 14th, and this week's video focuses on Monday's storm in the Midwest, Wednesday's USDA report, some harvest snapshots, the traveling combine rolls again, and a challenge from me. This past Monday, the ag news was from the derecho that moved through Iowa, Illinois, and Indiana. It created quite a path of destruction and affected significant crop acres. These photos are of separate on-farm or commercial grain locations in the derecho path in Iowa. One thing I found myself wondering as I viewed these grain bins is, where's the big corn carryout? It's certainly not in these empty grain tanks. That in turn triggered a memory from earlier this summer when I was on a customer site who has the largest grain complex I support. Their comment was, it was going to be the first harvest in many, many years when they had all their storage completely empty. Which leads to my next question. Who watching or listening to this video will still be storing any previous year's corn crop as harvest begins? Wednesday's USDA crop report pegged the 2020 corn average at 181.8 bushels per acre, well above the average trade prediction of 180.5, and soybeans at 53.3 bushels per acre, which is several bushels above the average trade prediction. Both crop averages, if they play out, would be new record yields. And yet, the grain markets on Wednesday and Thursday shrugged off the news with higher closes both days. Are the lows in for the Dees corn contract at 320? We tested it several times recently. It seems likely that given the expanding drought and derecho acres in Iowa, that this state may not reach the projected average of 202 for 2020 harvest. Harvest has started near Holyoke, Colorado. Potato harvest, that is. These are Yukon Gold potatoes from the Lenz family farms. Who's had the privilege of riding a self-propelled potato harvester? In August, the harvest starts around 4 a.m. in the morning while the ground is still cool from the overnight temps. Wow, I love my job and the diversity I get to experience. And of course, another photo from the Palouse found its way to my feed this week. Do you think the seatbelt is on? Combines. I shared the saga a few weeks ago about a new S780 that found its way to the pavement twice on its maiden trip from Moline, Illinois to Oklahoma. Well, that very combine is on the road again this week to a farm in Ontario, Canada, as part of a salvage job. Wishing it the best in its new home. Lastly, on a serious note, the cropping years 2019 and 2020 have delivered immense stress across the U.S. agricultural sector. The stress doesn't differentiate where you reside, what crops you cultivate, or the type of animals you raise. It's constant and intense right now. So my question this week is, who do you call or where do you go to get relief? It is important that you have someone to reach out to that you trust and will listen without being judgmental. I have a friend and client from Southwest Kansas that recently opened up about his life experiences in the podcast with the Shark Farmer. If you haven't listened to the Shark Farmer, I'd encourage you to do so. Take some time while you're driving down the road and listen to the podcast. In particular, number 217 from July 14th, 2020. In this podcast, Brant shares some of his challenges growing up and beginning to farm. This interview is and was an act of courage to let others know that you aren't alone in your challenges and feelings. So today, my friend, my challenge to you is to pick up the phone and connect with someone, to let them know you will listen or that you want to share an experience. You don't have to be alone.